post-Muhammad. Now, you want to open up your Mecca pre-Muhammad reading that we did, because we have a question on the quiz. Is how did Mecca change over time? So for us to actually know if it changed, we need to know what it was like before. And this is specifically before Muhammad made his impact or had an influence on Mecca. So review the very bottom here. We talked about some of the things in class, some of the characteristics of Mecca at the time. So whatever you put here, some of the major key terms or ideas of what the characteristics were, we're gonna take those and place them here. So just kind of outline. We maybe just focus on 3 characteristics of what was before, and then after we read this article, we're going to see what changed. What was Mecca like after? Okay, so that's going to be the main focus. So we're focusing on these 2 to kind of gather our main points. And then we're going to complete this section here below. I'll just kind of read it so we know the end goal, and then we'll go back and read the article together. Now, write a paragraph explaining how Mecca changed over time. So you want to tell a story of the change, show the change, bringing in evidence, details, and explaining why this was a fundamental change. This should include information of what Mecca was like before. So again, the more details, evidence, your understanding from our Mecca pre-Muhammad document, this will help you. So that critical reading, critical thinking, and changes that took place in Mecca as a result of Muhammad. So that's going to be the second box here. Be sure to use evidence from both readings. I have some things here in red that can help you as sentence starters. So here are some sample suggestions to read to students for their claim. So I'm reading to you now. Mecca changed drastically over time due to Muhammad's influence, for instance, and then you're going to go into maybe your first point. One man was able to change the city of Mecca in 2 major ways. One would be one of the main things that changed here. So you saw a drastic change. We're giving evidence, talking about the change, why it's changing, showing how it was after. So use these, change them, don't use them, but I was kind of giving you some ideas here. So you can erase what you don't use. And remember, we're looking to have a claim, and then we're going to have evidence and analysis to kind of back up our claim, prove our claim true. So let's kind of get started with, what did Mecca look like after? What did it look like after here? So before you start this reading, access your Mecca pre-Muhammad. You should have that up already. And review the summary you wrote. So I'm going to go back to here. Again, if you haven't done this, take the information that the main ideas, and we want to transfer that information. Or actually review it, but again, you want to place that down here so that's fresh in our memory. Now critically read and mark the text below with the focus of major changes that occurred. Okay, remember, critically read, or reading to understand, not just to get through. Marking the text so it can highlight, choose a color. And we're looking for things that changed Mecca. After the completion, go to the next page. So after Muhammad returned to Mecca and related the visions he received from the angel, he began to speak out against the city's vices and many gods. A vice is something you're addicted to. He stated there was only one God. I think this might be our first major change or potential change. Here's some foreshadowing. Allah, the same creator God of Abraham, he spoke out against gambling and drinking alcohol. He advocated the caretaking of widows and orphans. He also preached about family and community. His message was not well received. In 622 CE, the people of Mecca forced Muhammad out. He fled to the safety of the nearby city Medina in a journey known as the Hijra. This historic journey became the start of the Islamic calendar, which is based on lunar cycles. Muhammad found refuge in Medina and became a respected citizen. So I'm going to pause for a second. You can pause the video, but I want you to go back and read anything here and highlight in yellow if you see something that may be foreshadowing a potential change that we might see. And I kind of alluded to it already. Push play when you're ready to move on. Now, we have some terms here, which we'll just go over that. I should have done this in the beginning. Widow, a woman who lost their husband and has not remarried. Lunar, relating to the moon phases, cycles. Kaaba, a stone building located in the courtyard of the great mosque in Mecca. Polytheistic, we know this. We should know this. Belief in many gods. Launching out from Medina, Muhammad and those loyal to him defeated the army of Mecca and converted the city to Islam's holiest place. It's converted the city to Islam into Islam's holiest place. I think that would be considered something to look at, critically read. They destroyed all Mecca's idols and temples except the Kaaba. They destroyed all Mecca's idols and temples except the Kaaba. So we'll pause here for a second and think about a contractor who specializes in remodeling kitchens before, after. We took a snapshot before in Mecca, maybe at the festivals, worshiping many idols. And now we take a picture after all these idols are destroyed. We can see just by a picture of a drastic difference that took place. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you what to highlight, but I'm just going to kind of stop and maybe give you hints along the way. Muhammad's teachings united the many Arabian groups under one religion. United. If I remember correctly from our previous reading, we had a lot of conflict. So you might want to reread and kind of look at this a little bit closer. Underneath one religion. Since the Quran was written in Arabic, Arabic became the official language of Islam. The Kaaba and the mosque built at Mecca became the center of the Islamic world and a destination for Muslim pilgrims. Okay, it's the center of Islamic world. So Islam, major religion. Okay, what was in the other article, Mecca pre, what was it known for? Okay, what do people know Mecca for? And so this is something you want to make sure that you look at the difference or change, and because this is definitely something worth taking a second look. Islam brought a new identity and a faith in one God and a set of values to the Arab world. Islam made sense in a world with many traditional beliefs and a few unifying principles. Islam probably was the biggest thing to change what this area looked like, what was traditions, and so we see drastic change. A lot of things in this paragraph says it's worth going back, looking, and making sure that you're not missing anything that that is changing in Mecca. Last paragraph. Today, Mecca is a destination that all Muslims, if able, are required to journey to once in their life. The city of Mecca is no longer identified as a major trade center. Hint,